What's going on YouTube? This is 3zinferno. Thanks for waiting, guys. I'm sorry for the video and why it's taking so long. I've been real busy with work and just a lot of things that I've been doing recently. And then I finally moved into I'm moving into my new place, and I've been packing a lot. And then I realized I can't find my iPod Touch, so that's one of the reasons why it's taking so long to make this video. But of course, the video that we're going to be talking about what we're going to be talking about today is the ban list. So I know you guys have been waiting for this, so thanks for waiting. Here you go. So let's start by getting to the list real quick. Alright, so banned. We know banned is Future Fusion and Bionic. What do I think of that? Well, first, Future Fusion I thought was already something that should have been done. I've been talking about it for a long time, and so hitting Future Fusion makes sense, plenty of sense. Sets up the graveyard too easily for only a few decks, and it shouldn't be like that. Then Bionic, they keep hitting synchros. They've hit Goyo and Churchill last format, now they hit Brio. I think that it's interesting because they keep hitting synchros and then they keep hitting. Well, but Brio has a more roundabout purpose because Brio can bounce cards back like Future Fusion and lets you recycle things and helps you set up your graveyard. So I don't think it's necessarily it's not necessary to ban Brio, but I could see why they banned it. Now to 1, we have Chaos Sorcerer to 1. For me, I mean, it makes sense in a way, but I really didn't see too many people running more than one. It was more like a boss card that you throw in with BLS if you're running a Chaos deck. So I could see why Chaos Sorcerer's at 1. It can be abused. Then you have Insector, Dragonfly, or Hornet. They crushed Insectors. I was talking about it in my video. I was like, oh, they'll probably hit Hornet and maybe Dragonfly to 2. They crushed it, 1 and 1. So yeah, I don't think many people are going to be trying to run Insectors anymore, and I wouldn't either. Even with your Zek Calibers, and you don't get to plus hard enough. You have to play a really control-based deck, maybe with Thunder Kings, if you're gonna run Insectors. So that's how I see that. Red Eyes to 1. I've said it before. I think it should go to 1. The only argument people had against me about that was Gustav Max, and they said, oh well, if Red Eyes Darkness is at 1, then you can't make Gustav Max, and then you can't promote, sell it. Which for me, I know Konami thinks about that stuff sometimes, but honestly, I thought Red Eyes should go to 1, and it is. Spore came back from the ban list, which I think is appropriate for me because Glow Bulb is way more broken than Spore because Glow Bulb needs no setup. You can't just foolish a Spore and then use its effect because you have to have another plant type in your graveyard. But Glow Bulb, you can just use it automatically. It's free. You can Foolish Burial it, then mill for Glow Bulb, and then do whatever you want. Sack for Caius, do Synchro, make a formula, do whatever. The Spore is harder to manipulate its level, and it's easier for your opponent to figure out what you're doing. Glow Bulb is you just throw it in there and then you can do whatever the heck you want. So I don't mind Spore coming back either. Plants need a little bit of a boost. Then you have Tsukiyomi. Tsukiyomi coming back is interesting to me, but I don't think it's gonna change the format. It's not a game breaker. What I mean by that is because Tsukiyomi, there used to be really good with cards like Magician of Faith, other things where you could regain flip effects because you put monsters face down. And nowadays, a lot of monsters have a really high defense, let's say a Logia or whatever. So Tsukiyomi putting it face down doesn't take off its materials, and then Tsukiyomi can't attack over it anyway. So in today's format, I don't think Tsukiyomi is as big a factor as it used to be. So Tsukiyomi coming back, I don't think is really a problem. Now we have Ivishki Goose Kraken, one of the few, I think actually only rituals on this list. possibly. Now I'm speaking. I don't know why. I'm speaking without checking. But anyway, Goose Kraken's on the list. Um, he's the level 6 ritual where when it's you get to look at two of your opponent's cards and put one back into the deck, I think. So that's pretty broken. I mean, and you can loop with it. I've heard. I haven't really seen. So that's that. If it can be looped, then it should be put down. Just like Kara Zen Mighty. Zen Mighty is the logical card to be hit in the list, in the wind up um, arsenal. And I've been talking about that. Zen Mighty is the card that I would not want to be seen, would not want to be hit as a wind up player. Because it's one of the most broken. You have Rat is broken, is good, but you need setup. Hunter is good, but okay, you still you don't want to just take out Hunter. So I thought Zen Mighty would be hit, and there it is. Zen Mighty is down to 1. Now we'll go on to Ultimate Offering at 1. Makes sense. A lot of play like gadget decks. There's a lot more 3 of right now. 3 exceeds XYZ monsters that require 3 level 4s, and they keep getting better. So Ultimate Offering was really for Ultimate Offering gadgets, I feel like, and to stop that. Now to 2, we have Blackwing Kalut the Moonshadow. I know some people that tell me, oh, if Kalut goes back to 2, I will run Blackwings, and you know what? It's not that far stretched because Blackwings can disrupt a lot of plays with Icarus attack. And then with Dragons dwindling, with the loss of Future Fusion and Red Eyes and Sorcerer and whatever, and Tour Guide even, Blackwings can see more play. And they can still run Delta Crow, which is still one of the most devastating cards. If you go second and you set 3 and you get Delta Crow, you're like, oh my gosh, because people do not remember. Then Debris Dragon to 2. I don't have too much to say about that. I don't think it's make an impact like everyone else thinks. Rescue Rabbit and Tour Guide we'll talk about. Rescue Rabbit is the least hit deck currently. So especially at YCS Toronto, when no one knows what to run, I think Rabbit will be the default. So if you are going to YCS Toronto, I strongly encourage you to be siding or main decking some kind of Rabbit hate, because you will be seeing Rabbits abound, because that is the least hit deck. Even though it is hit, it's still the least hit deck. Alright? And we'll have the Agent Mystery of Earth, which brings agents back into the picture a little bit. I think one of the reasons why agents fell out of power, it wasn't because of the One Earth necessarily. It's more because of the Insectors, and because agents have no back row against Insectors. They will get crushed. But right now, and the Dragons too, because Hyperion was not big enough to run over Red Eyes Metal. But now that those 2 decks are more out of the picture, I feel like agents can make a comeback. We have a Hero Lives to 2, which and E-Call to 2, Heretic Seal of Convocation to 2. So they have a little chain of these recruiter cards that are going to 2, which is fine. A Pot of Duality to 2, excuse me. Okay, I mean, it's not really that big a deal to me. Reasoning to 2 is a very interesting card, because I used to like Reasoning a lot in Chaos Dragons. I thought it was a very good card because it was so unpredictable with all the levels in there that Reasoning would be a really cool choice. But now I sort of want to play around with Reasoning and some kind of card. I don't know what, but I'll think about it. And Mirror Force to 2. Interesting. I don't know if that'll make too much of an impact, but in a way it does, because, or I'm sorry, it will make an impact because Insectors are down now, and there's not too many cards that can destroy multiple cards at once. You have now 2 Torrential Tributes and 2 Mirror Force. This is going to be very interesting. And now, let's say you're playing a Rabbit player, and instead you have 1 back row, and now they go Rabbit, okay, and you have a Mirror Force set. So are they going to try to attack with their 2 Saber Swords anymore for more damage, or are they going to make a Logia first? Because if I have a Mirror Force set, I'll want you to attack with your 2 Saber Swords because I don't want you to negate it. So now it's sort of hard because back then it used to be like, oh, 1 Mirror Force, no one ran that thing. But now we're at 2, people might start running it, and then these rabbit players can't be all aggressive anymore. They have to play more conservatively in case it is a Mirror Force or some kind of like deprison. Because more people now with the like insectors seeing their demise, a lot more people will be running defensive traps like deprison and Mirror Force. So for me, rabbit players have to be more conservative now, and if they don't, they're playing wrong. So honestly, you can use that information to your advantage, and even no matter what it is, just set one of it, and um, hopefully the rabbit player should be conservative enough. Now, no longer on the list, Marshmallow. Okay, Necro Gardener, D-Draw, E-Teleport, Level Limit Area, B Swords, Revealing Light Magic Cylinder. I said Swords was gonna come, so that was interesting call by me. Magic Cylinder, again, is an interesting concept because of there being no dragonflies, and no hornets anymore. I mean, there's still one, but you know what I mean. No one's gonna run the deck anymore, and now that that's the case, you have these cards coming back: Magic Cylinder and Mirror Force, that negate your opponent's attacks, and that's just really interesting to me. I think it makes the game a little more, thought provoking. You have to figure out what they have back there, and then you can't attack if your opponent, if you're at low on life points, because you get Magic Cylinder. And yes, I do think that people will be teching Magic Cylinder. I really do. With the big beaters that are still out there, 2,400 Logias, 23 Dolkas, I don't see why you wouldn't. Magic Cylinder is just really good card in general. And I think that some people are going to tech it or run at least 1 or 2 copies, just because of the power it can it protects yourself from one attack and harms your opponent too. Damage. That's pretty good. D-Draw and E-Teleport, I've heard people whispering about Teledad back again. I mean, you can go ahead and play it. I don't encourage you to do it because honestly it's not as good as it used to be. Alright, then you have your level limit, and don't really care about for that. Also because of the exceeds don't get negated by level limit area B. Then you have Marshmallow and Necro Gardener. Marshmallow is whatever to me, and Necro Gardener is also the same. Alright, so that's what I have about Banlist on this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Next video I'm going to talk about the new tiers of the new decks, or of the decks, and I'll tell you how I feel where each deck rates, especially for YCS Toronto. Alright, that's it for me, 3zinferno, signing out.